Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and we continue with the 2024 Astrology Marathon. Today, my guest is the long-expected astrologer Trifon Nikolov, who will be talking about the year 2024 from the point of view of Sidereal Astrology, which uses the actual constellations. And it has the same 12 names of the signs, but it's the actual constellations. Hello, Trifon.
Hello, everybody. Now we will have to talk about what's coming next for the so much waited new year, the year 2024.
Probably your video is one of the most anticipated ones. I'm excited to hear what kind of horrors you have prepared for us. I'm kidding.
Yes, you will be not disappointed, I think.
From the horror.
Yeah. Well, you know what world we live in, after all. The world is sometimes horrible, especially in certain places in the last months.
Yeah.
The
And
world
before
has
we
not
begin,
changed so much.
Before I begin, I just want to say that Trifon is offering his 2024 reading for the year ahead for a really big discount, 40% almost. I'll put the link below in the description. If you'd like to contact Trifon for the next 2 weeks, he offers this discount for all AstrolAda viewers.
And so the year is knocking on the door. So to say, even I can say that it's already the new year in a certain sense has begun. We have this ancient and also pagan, you can say, day of the year. Like in Bulgaria, are preserved many ancient views of the times.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Ignazden, which means like the day of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for the moment when the sun stops in the lowest point on the horizon for the entire year and seemingly stays there for 3 days. So this is right now. And of course, this is marking the actual start of the movement of the sun from the lowest point towards the others. And it is the actual beginning in many ways. So this is happening right now. And of course, this is so much related to the symbolism of Christmas, actually. The relation is quite direct, as the sun represents the spiritual force.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's being born in this way, starting from the beginning of its path. So from my point of view, we are already in the new year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, yes, true. So there are so many things to say about this new year, so I think this video will be not enough, but I will try to cover certain important aspects of the year, and I will be talking a lot more about the year ahead again, of course. So let's see where to start. We know that each year has certain ruler, or at least the ancient tradition indicates that the ruler is certain planet, and there are rules to define this ruler. And of course, there are so many complexities in order to find this ruler. So even using only one system, still people can be confused a little bit. So I was thinking a lot about it, and my final decision is to use certain ancient system, preferring certain ways above others. And in this way, the ruler of the year will be known. However, let's make one thing known. This is related to the ancient cycles of the sidereal signs and the planets. And so the thing is that the major ruler of the most of the time of the year of 2024 actually will be Mercury.
Oh, okay. Not
Of course,
Saturn,
he is
not
not.
Mars.
He is what?
Not Saturn, not Mars. Good.
In some of the other ways possible, Saturn is involved, by the way. But I prefer this way. And not only because it's more positive, but because it has some more logic to it. And so Mercury will be the major ruler. This is what I think. Of course, this implies certain things to happen. So in general, the ancients are saying that this will make people who are living in the northern countries of the world. So let's imagine what means the north. Canada, also the northern states in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, places like Russia, North China, North Europe, like Scandinavian countries, Poland, Scotland, even I can say UK in general. Of course, Iceland, all the northern regions where we can talk about true north. Finland, I think it must be mentioned specifically. So in those countries, the ancients are saying because Mercury is the ruler and because he is related to this direction as a ruler of the year, he indicates that it will appear in the rich people and in the common people in those countries a much greater desire to learn spirituality, philosophy, astrology, yeah, and in general sciences. And the ancient texts go so far as to say that even the fathers will teach their sons about those topics, which is, of course, the ancient way to teach, but implies very like personal attitude. So what to say, Lada? Maybe it's time to make some seminars in the north.
Absolutely.
There will be interest.
Iceland.
Chicago, or Sweden, whatever. So those countries, places, there will be this inner spark of desire for knowledge. Mercury will lit this spark, and this will start to be stronger in March, and will get stronger and stronger for the rest of the year. In addition, of course, Mercury as the ruler of the year indicates that this is a very, very important time for the intellectual world. We can expect greater achievements in science, in literature, in music. Also, Mercury is the planet of negotiation, because Mercury always searches to create a balance. It's no coincidence that Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So a lot of important information will come to people in whatever ways are needed. For some, it can be in a dream. For someone, he will understand those important things that he needs to know in order to be more effective and successful. However, there is also a bad side of Mercury. Let's just mention it. This can be also the time of those who are trying to deceive others.
Tricksters, lies.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's be careful about this. So there will be, of course, then more lying, more deceiving, sorry to say, but Mercury indicates.
No, it's election years after all, where we are without lying and deceiving on election years.
Also, Mercury is the planet of transportation, so I guess we will see some breakthrough in those electric vehicles and also other type of transportation, I guess.
Mm.
There are expectations about such things already, but now they can materialize. So I will not go into details, but there are a lot of things that must be done, and the challenge is already happening to certain companies like Tesla and so on. Then they will be successful. However, Mercury also will express something additional. His rulership will be related to one of the fixed stars in the sky. And I'm talking about the star called Sheat.
Why?
Because he's rising with her, which will decide the rulership. And this conjunction that Mercury will make with this star, and because he will be actually the ruler, will be decisive. And then this star and her meanings are actually very important for the year.
I remember.
Yeah. Now we start with this part that you mentioned in the beginning, right? So of course this is not funny after all, but let's see what it means. First, Sheat is said by the ancients to be of the nature of Mars and Mercury. This star is posited in the constellation Pegasus, the winged horse from the legends. Because of this, it represents actually swift motion and movement and development. But also let's remind everybody that the rider of Pegasus, a certain hero called Bellerophon, he went to the higher heavens with Pegasus, but became proud and was punished by Zeus with the lightning bolt, of course, and he fell from really high. And this was his end. So it's a year when people, especially those related to Mercury, if they allow themselves to go too much in vanity, in pride, they can fall really bad ways. In addition, this star is related to science. This is an intellectual star, and partly is of the nature of Mercury, which greatly reinforces the nature of Mercury. This only makes the things that I mentioned in the beginning much stronger. And this is good. This is good. Also, I have noticed that this star is actually the star of, let's say, intelligence. But what I mean here is the intelligence services as well. And this will be a very important year about the actions of those.
Intelligence services, like CIA.
Yes, like, of course, yes. All those.
Mm-hmm.
Not only in USA, everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So this will be important year. So of course, I don't know exactly how, but there will be great importance about this for the world. In addition, let's mention also the other side of Sheat. Astrologers of the past decades and centuries are mentioning that this star is a star of suicide.
Mm.
In other words, it is a star of catastrophe and tragedy so great that can lead a person to desire to finish his life.
Oh my God.
Because of this, of course, Mercury indicates that this is a year when we will have to be ready to help much more to those who will be suffering from such things, because there will be such people.
Mm-hmm.
The presence of the star indicates this. However, because Mercury is benevolent planet, especially in this case, Mercury is beneficial planet, that's for sure. Surely, Mercury is mostly benefic as a ruler of the year, so I think the good is much more than the evil. And because of this connection, I have noticed that when there is a benefic influence with this star,
Mm-hmm.
it turns her evil actually to the following. It means that really the people, or in this case, the world, as a person, so to say, will focus on helping resolving critical and difficult situations, catastrophes, tragedies, I guess wars,
Mm-hmm.
hunger, suffering that may happen here and there, and it is going on in certain places we know very well where. And so because of this, I can say the year will be the year of the world helping, giving helping hand, and trying to achieve peace, to negotiate terms of good development for everybody. Also, it means a great importance of the social developments and institutions. Mercury also can write new laws about society, laws that can help society in general. I think this will be great focus. And so that's why Mercury is so important. He is the Lord of the year. We should be happy, actually, that it's not Mars, Saturn, and so on. Shat will be expressed also in its bad side. We'll see where, but it can be in the northern places, northern countries. It can be there also. Also, I can say also North Africa, especially West Africa. The ancients specifically are mentioning this. And so this is, of course, only one side of the question of the year. So let's proceed to other, I can say, no less important aspects of the year. They are also related to how the year will go. If you remember, since the last conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn happened, I am explaining each year some things about it, and so far the predictions based on this are extremely successful. One example, when I predicted that there will be problems with atomic energy and plants.
Nuclear threats. And so.
Yes, there was actually war going on in and outside nuclear plants in Ukraine soon after the prediction. And so now let's go to the same technique and see what's going on. what is about to happen. There also there is something that I call a mirror year, you can say. What I mean. The last time before the current conjunction happened, 3 years ago, there was another one long ago in the beginning of the 60s. I mean, the same conjunction in Capricorn happened that time and happened also 3 years ago. And we're living in similar times, but I think they're mirroring themselves. What I mean, whatever happened in the 60s will be now balanced in certain ways, good or bad.
Can we expect
For example, yeah, for example, I think that the conflict that happened in the 60s, and it was going on in places like Asia, like Vietnam, for instance. I think the years now and ahead are mirroring this by creating similar conflicts, like the one in Ukraine. However, the results will be different. This is what I think. And this time, I think the Western powers will have what they desire.
It's looking exactly the opposite.
Unlike the case in Vietnam. I know how it looks. But this is what I think. I'm specifically mentioning what I think. So we'll see if I'm correct. And about this, the year now is a lot like the year 1964. 2024 will be a lot like the year 1964.
Well, I hope the music becomes as good as then.
Yes, let's begin with this. What happened in 1964? Let's give an example. There was a miracle on the musical horizon. Beatles appeared. Beatles, the greatest band ever, according to me. So let's hope this will happen again. Let's hope, right? I think there will be certain great development in music.
Isn't it counting from Aquarius when started, from Taurus? No, from Capricorn. What sign is the perfection of the conjunction now?
Now it's
Aries.
Aries.
Okay.
Of course, Aries implies also that there will be a lot of pioneering work. This is one of the sides of Aries. Also, it implies that the year will be extremely important about the science of energy and the producing of everything related, batteries or plants, for example, or new inventions. Of course, the same can be said about weapons, I guess. This is another side of Aries. And I know that there are plans to increase production. This will happen, obviously. Of course, Aries is so important about war. Aries and Mars, they represent action, and on mundane level, the conflicts are usually resolved with the power of the army. And 1964 was the year when the war in Vietnam intensified a lot. and the so-called Tonkin incident, I think, after which USA got involved much more personally in the war. And here I have to say that this probably will repeat in certain ways. So where exactly? I don't know, but there are certain options. Of course, we can imagine where very easily. There are a couple of hot places known to everybody. And Ukraine, Israel, but also North Korea, also Taiwan. Those are some possibilities. I cannot say where exactly. But there is definitely, this is a sign that things will go hotter and hotter, actually. Only that I think that this time the direction is different. So what else? What else happened? Also, in 1964, the US president declared war on poverty. War on poverty. So the Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed. It was signed by the President Lyndon Johnson in July 64. So this is again an indication that this will be a year of great development about society, fight for civil rights, because 1964 was especially powerful about that. Mm-hmm. There was a very strong civil rights movement. Also, there was very important social reforms, as you can see, and we expect this then to happen again. So there is this good side. Other events that happened, Nelson Mandela went to jail in South Africa for 27 years, which indicates that this fight for rights will be more difficult in some parts of the world. And people can suffer. The leaders of those movements searching freedom and human rights. In certain places, especially the much more totalitarian ones, may have to pay the price for some time. Mm. Let's also mention something else. Maybe this will happen, maybe not. But the Soviet leader in 1964, the Soviet leader, Khrushchev, he fell from power and was replaced by Leonid Brezhnev, another totalitarian leader. If you see Putin falling from power, it looks probable from this analogy. It looks probable, even though right now it does not look so, right? But this is how it looks. Because of the power of the analogy of the perfection of the cycle being the same in 1964 and now in 2024. Mm-hmm. Okay. Another thing happened in 1964. Turkey attacked Cyprus and the Greek inhabitants. Now we can have a mirror year about this. There can be, I think then, there will be greater probability of conflict between Turkey and Greece. The two countries are many years already shaking their weapons against each other. There were even war of words, so to say. Many small conflicts, but again, the cycle shows that now this can intensify greatly. Warning for Turkey and Greece to search for peace instead for conflict. Mm. If I am right in my logic of mirror year, if a conflict happens, then the power will be more with Greece. That's what I think. Also, 1964 was the first year when China developed its atomic bomb, the first test. Then we can see now further development, I guess, about that. Even more important development for China on military level is indicated this way. Also, there were important developments in medicine and science, but I already mentioned this. This is specifically intensified also. Okay, so far with the analogies and what they mean. I think you already can imagine what is coming in this way. At least a good part of those comparisons and expectations, I think will become true. Also, some people are thinking that 1964 was the year when the American dream fell apart because of all the events happening. So it was a kind of revolutionary year for human consciousness, for human rights. It also intensified wars. And if they say so, that the people who gave a lot of thought, then I'm tending to agree that now the American dream will be again in question, but maybe this time it can be regained back.
Oh.
I'm hoping for this. So this is what I think. So, okay, so much about this specific cycle. I will now comment additional things. There are a lot of cycles going on in the year, and each of them deserves a lot of comment. Let's mention the most important things, like what happens with Jupiter and Saturn throughout the year, because they are the leading forces. So let's begin with Saturn. One of the things that I found in the ancient texts about Saturn and his current situation is about the property market, real estate market.
Okay.
It happens that there is information about that in the ancient texts. And so the ancient texts are saying the following. When Saturn is in Aquarius, as he is now, as he will be in 2024, and as he will be in the entire 2025, he will change in December 25, the next sign, going out of Aquarius to Pisces in that time. But now you can see it. It is in Aquarius. Just use your eyes at night and maybe your applications on your smartphones. But what they say when Saturn is in this situation, they say the common people will have difficulty to acquire inheritance, and they will have difficulty to acquire real estate and property.
Because Aquarius rules the common people?
It is related. It is related. This is a really good remark. Aquarius is of a shape of a human, actually, right? So it's one of those signs of human shape. And then it's very much related to people. And when Saturn is there, Saturn, of course, is a planet that tests and even limits a lot. So then people are having some more difficulty but also people are going more back to earth, to reality as well, and learning how to achieve their dreams as well. And Saturn is the greatest teacher about that. This is one thing about. So Saturn in this way predicts that the situation on the real estate market, as it is now not so favorable, will continue to be so in 2024 and also in 2025. And only after that, it will become better. So people make your mind. The ancient text is saying specifically that this is not about the rich people, and of course, it is not.
They can always acquire properties.
Yeah, exactly. This is for the common people. The ancient text specifically mentions this. Okay, so let's see what else happens. Interesting. Also, the ancient texts are saying that there will be deaths of the animals that men use.
Deaths of the animals.
Yes, dying of the animals.
These are like the
Not specifically used by what?
domestic animals. Or what kind?
Of course, those that are used by people. Well, this can be also a little bit different because domestic animals is one, but also people are doing a lot of things with other animals as well, using them.
For what?
Like for example, for making clothes.
Oh, okay, like cows for milk and chickens for eggs. Okay.
Yeah, so all the animals that are used by men. But mostly, I guess, the domestic animals. I think you're right about that. Also, the condition of Saturn, the ancients are saying that this means danger of fires. So then this will be another year with greater fires than usual. Okay. In addition, I will say something. Saturn in Aquarius definitely accentuates on the importance of freedom and the fight for freedom and the things that people can suffer in order to achieve this. Again, the analogy of 1964, in that time, first there were some victims, for example, in USA, which ignited the civil rights movement. So Saturn will give his heavy influence upon the situation about human rights, which will inflame people to search for those rights much more intensely throughout 2024. This is only what can give result, of course. In addition, specific countries are also affected by the transit of Saturn. Now, for the most of 2023, the Near East was subject to the influence of Saturn. Also, Aquarius is said to be related to the area of countries on the north shore of Black Sea, like Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, but also to a big part of Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, south parts of Russia as well. Saturn continues to influence those places throughout 2024. Of course, this means it will be not easy to be there. It will be more challenging times for those countries. especially, I think, Ukraine. Not that nothing good can happen, by the way, but it's still challenging. So, something else. Between 19th of January and 14th of April, very specific time frame, Saturn will influence Germany. Germany, and I can say even some of the surrounding countries, especially those who speak German language. Austria, Switzerland. But most of all is for Germany. So Saturn will influence them as well, 19th of January to 14th of April. So we can expect political crisis. That political crisis, much more challenging situation coming. Troubles of all sorts as well can happen. The situation with human rights also, but maybe not in the way that organizations about that expect. So after that, 14th of April, namely, is when Saturn will increase its influence upon Ukraine and the surrounding places that I already mentioned. Georgia, Armenia, Russia, Poland, Litva, Estonia. It will increase and it will be more intense until 20th of September for them. Okay, so much about Saturn for now. Let's see what happens with Jupiter. Of course, Jupiter is expected to give good things, and he will do so. For example, when he goes further in Aries, now you know Jupiter is about to become direct right before New Year celebrations, which is good mostly for everybody. Then he goes further inside the sign, and the ancients are saying that this portends good health. Good health. Okay, let's say that February and March, especially February and beginning of March, are very good times for people to improve their health condition, and that there will be in general improvement for many. What more than good health, right? I guess nothing. So Jupiter will influence about better health. Of course, better health we can translate also to improvement in the medical institutions. Coming of better specialists, better doctors into service. In general, good time for this industry. And mostly for the people, which not always is for the people who are using this. So this is the best influence of Jupiter. Also, the ancient texts are mentioning that Jupiter will help to have multitude of fish and animals of the waters. Okay, even though this is against what is being said in the press. Now Jupiter at least will show a cycle when the sea life, the ocean life, will regain some territory. Yeah. So what else? Again about Jupiter. His condition in the year is such that the ancients are saying that it will be a very good time for the wise and the nobles, okay? Aristocrats, I guess, but also the wise people. They will be able to enjoy a good life. All right? So not only the rich, but also the wise people. I like that. Not
Can't
that I'm wise, of course.
can't cheer up much because don't consider myself wise.
Yeah, of course. Be wise is heavy thing. So anyway, those people will enjoy better year. In addition, Jupiter will improve life in the following countries. Interesting. One of those is Afghanistan. Because Jupiter is transiting the sign of Afghanistan. And also even some of the surrounding territories, even though I guess they need it really. So things will improve there. After that, and this is happening, this improvement is happening until the end of the winter, specifically in this time frame. After that, the Asian texts are mentioning certain places, like South Turkey also having good development. South Turkey, interesting. Okay. Well, Jupiter in Aries in general is good for Western Europe because the ancient authorities in astrology are mentioning this sign being related. I mean specifically the countries of Germany, France, and in general UK. Jupiter is until the month of May helping those countries to have good development in almost everything. After that, no more. Jupiter moves this influence to other places, but in such position that it can still mean for those same countries good financial development. The logic is that because they are symbolized by Aries, when Jupiter moves to Taurus, it will be in their second house, financial house. Okay. And then what happens? Jupiter will enter Taurus in May. And after some time, 2 weeks later, he goes into such position that the ancients are saying the following. It means hatred, they say, hatred of the common people towards their king. Hatred of the people towards their king. So, of course, let's say that this must happen in authoritarian countries where we have something similar to a king, like dictator. So in general, we can speak about Asia and places like Iran, maybe Russia. I don't think so probable about China, but there are also many other countries. North Korea, Myanmar, and so on and so forth. So where there are such regimes, the hatred of people will increase towards the government, the way they are ruled, obviously. And we can expect the results of this to be seen. This effect will last until December, so it's a long time. Middle of May till beginning of December. Another translation of the influence of Jupiter is mentioning abundance of rains and waters. Okay. Danger of floods then. And enough water for agriculture. In addition, Jupiter in Taurus will be good for any accomplishments and whatever is needed to be done from a religious and philosophical point of view. This includes construction of temples. So maybe they will be able to finish the reconstruction of Notre Dame, the repair of the damage. This is one example. And there is something very positive about Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter in Taurus, of course, this is a power to be reckoned with about the financial development, the economic development of the world. Jupiter in Taurus indicates that there will be so many good things done, increasing production for important things. Of course, later in the year, Jupiter will be with Mars. This is in the summer, at which time it will be much more challenging financially. But when this comes, like July, August, be more careful, of course. However, the ancient texts are saying that Jupiter in Taurus will increase the desire of man of collecting wealth. This is mysterious expression. A person can think even that this can mean that people will feel the need for this, right? But this is not said in this specific way. So this is hopeful that after all, especially I guess after the summer, it will be felt immediately in May, but it will be more effective after the summer. I mean, the desire of man for collecting wealth. So people will be more active, more able to achieve their plans financially. This is a good sign. Again, not for the summer, however. Initially, the hopes can meet with great troubles happening in the summer. What countries Jupiter is beneficial for? You already know some of them. However, when Jupiter enters Taurus, this is an important sign for USA. The reason for this, it is the rising sign of USA. Let's say that Jupiter in Taurus is a very, very complex position. So it will require reforms. It will require going through certain critical moments in order to give its progress about economics and finances. So this can mean initially there will be a crisis and then great improvement. This improvement, however, will probably come later in the year and even throughout 25 when Jupiter will be still there for a couple of months. I have observed many times the complex influence of Jupiter in Taurus, and it is happening to be so because Jupiter in Taurus is, from the point of view, for example, of Vedic astrology, he is posited in Taurus in the sign of his enemy, which is Venus. If you think about it, Venus can be enemy of Jupiter for various reasons. Jupiter represents morality and Venus represents desires, for example. And when those two things meet, there can be a certain need of change. Sometimes not pretty initially, but always Jupiter is the planet that gives the right view of things, shows the truth, and in this way improves the situation. And so we expect this complex influence to come. Nevertheless, in the end, financially, Jupiter in Taurus will be beneficial for the world. I think this means it will allow much more success in production of important things, in agriculture and other places. And the scarcity that is now rising the prices for many things like cars or food will finally start to be overcome. This will happen throughout the year, and yeah, probably this is part of the process, and why the ancients are saying that men will have great desire to collect wealth, and this even greediness for those who are productive can lead to good results for the world in general. Of course, there will be also the other side. Those who desire great wealth will probably have much greater desire to do whatever it takes. So watch out. So what other countries Jupiter is beneficial for? Strangely, this country was already mentioned, but Taurus is since ancient times considered to be one of the signs of the East, and specifically the sign of Persia. Persia today is represented by two countries, namely Iraq and Iran. So Jupiter there will improve the situation, but it may invite first a crisis in order to do so. Even I can go further. Jupiter for Taurus happens to be the 8th house lord. Surely there will be deep transformation, change, and crisis first. Surely. This can be said also for USA. Other countries involved, Kurdistan, Azerbaijan are mentioned as related to the sign. So then the same goes for them. Also, I can say Georgia is related as well. Taurus is also one of the signs which is related to Ukraine. There are two different schools mentioning two signs for Ukraine. Aquarius, where we have Saturn, and Taurus, where we will have Jupiter after 5th of May. From this point of view, crisis and improvement in Ukraine in the time of Jupiter in Taurus. Not easy, but it will be there. And so these are the phases, the planets, these are the positions and how they influence some of the places of the world. Of course, it's not easy to cover all the hundreds of countries. And I will pursue this goal, however, and will make more specific videos about certain countries throughout the year. So now let's mention also what the eclipses that will be happening. What will be the influence of those eclipses? We have total solar eclipse coming. Of course, it's a big sign for the year. And it is happening in such an important moment. From the point of view of the ancients, the solar eclipse will happen in the first month of the year. You know, the ancients were considering the beginning of the spring to be the actual beginning of the year, which is, of course, as you can imagine, much more logical and in harmony with nature cycles. So it holds a lot of truth to it. Wherever needed, I'm giving the necessary information without mentioning those details. But now let's just mention this because it's necessary. So the solar eclipse this time will happen in the first month of the year, which will be in the spring. So, and the ancients considered whatever happens in the heavens, in the first month of the year to be a sign for the entire year. So having a solar eclipse in April, in the beginning of April, I think it was 8th of April. Then actually the influence of this eclipse is then considered to be much stronger for the entire year and for the world in general. Especially, however, for the places where the solar eclipse will be visible. And we talk here about North America. So the eclipse coming is a sign of crisis coming as well. Of course. Important changes in the government, in the rulership, they can happen immediately. They can happen even in April. However, the eclipse, the month of the eclipse will be also accompanied by the appearance of an important comet. I already talked about this comet, which already has the people's names. People gave her the name, the Devil Comet. So the Devil Comet is also coming in the same month with the eclipse. And this is too much, of course. Surely it's a sign of greater troubles coming, greater crisis, and probably even about war, because I checked the appearance of the Devil Comet in other years, if you remember this video, but whoever have not seen it, always it indicates a war in which USA is participating. Always. The last time was 1954, the beginning of the Vietnam War. Before that, other colonial wars. One of them, the War of 1812. But each time, USA was involved. And so this comet is coming. The comet only blinked, showed stronger flame in the beginning of October. This was only a hint. And you know what happened next. The events in Israel followed only 2 days after this blinking of the comet. But then it is expected to appear, and then more serious things to happen. Specifically about such type of eclipse that it will happen, it will be in the 24th degree of Pisces from the point of view of sidereal signs. And the ancients, they have what to say about an eclipse happening in this place. Their observations are showing that this means the anarchy of the armies, they say, the anarchy of the armies. Much cruelty and the dislike of man. This is what the ancient text is saying. Repeating, the anarchy of the armies, much cruelty, and the dislike of man. Obviously, the next spring will be more or less disastrous in military matters and in the way military men are behaving. There, of course, will be reasons for this. Of course, an eclipse happening in Pisces is very sensitive about the topic of suffering and the condition of society, the condition of institutions. All those are things that Pisces signifies. We know that there are good influences also about those topics. You see that having those great influences happening, then it is good that Mercury, the planet of reason and logic, is the actual ruler of the year. We will need this very much. Then, this is, of course, the most important solar eclipse. We will be talking much more about it when it approaches. But again, the meanings of this eclipse are important for the entire year afterwards, for the next at least 9 months, probably much more. Other eclipses are also going to happen. There will be one on the 2nd of October. It will be not a total eclipse. It will be in Virgo, 14 degrees Virgo, sidereal sign. And the ancient texts are mentioning plague among men, they're saying. And they say hunger and much anarchy. Okay, 2 eclipses are saying anarchy in different ways. So next year we'll be obviously inviting this thing in life of the world. They are saying also hunger. It's logical when there is an eclipse in Virgo. Virgo is actually representing the fruits of the earth. So the fruits of the earth, the results of agriculture, maybe in certain places of the world, then this eclipse foretells scarcity. This is especially to happen in October, November. I think that Jupiter in Taurus will compensate a lot. So I think it will be not so strong. Then there are also the lunar eclipses. The lunar eclipses are indicating the following. There will be a lunar eclipse happening in March, 25th of March. It will be in Virgo as well. What the ancients are saying is that there will be unpleasantness and the grief of the king's grammarians. Let's say people in the scientific world, and maybe especially those related to also humanitarian sciences, will meet with difficult developments. This must be related to society as a whole. Maybe not enough finances, but not only. Grief must mean that they are somehow obstructed in a really strong way, or even losing important persons from the scientific world. Obviously, because the year is ruled by Mercury, and so much important here about knowledge, and this eclipse also shows that the people related to this will have also crisis, at least some of them. Obviously, it's very important how knowledge will be used, in what way, and whether the knowledge that is acquired is deserved to be given, even. So people of knowledge take care of your dignity, obviously, throughout the year. Okay, so much about the eclipses. The eclipses are naturally a negative topic because they, of course, represent the diminishing of light and the corresponding results from astrological point of view. Let's give some additional information. On the 18th of April, Saturn will rise after being invisible for some time from the beginning of February. And the ancients are saying the following, when Saturn rises in Aquarius, they say, this means an insurrection of enemies and resistance. Insurrection of enemies and resistance. Well, I can imagine that this text was written for the kings and that the insurrection and the resistance is actually the activity of freedom fighters, for example. So there will be, obviously, some sort of rebellion happening in that time. Aquarius is a sign related to Ukraine, but in general, it's related to much of North Europe as well. Aquarius also can be related to Brazil, by the way. Aquarius is related also to a big part of Arabian countries. This is what the ancient texts are saying. So those countries may experience this. Of course, it's not necessary to be only there. From my point of view, Aquarius is much related to USA itself, for the reason that Aquarius is the most related to freedom-loving people, to democracy processes. And that's why USA is, in many ways, the best representative. So those insurrections and so on, what you heard, they can happen in all those places. Let's see about something else to mention. There are so many things. I have a full list here. Let's mention something that will repeat. Last year in August, there was a certain phase of Mercury, which the ancients are saying it means disputations between the king and his subordinate commanders. This was the time when certain military leaders in Russia found their death, seemingly from airplane accident. And also, soon after, important military commanders in other places of the world, like China and other places, met with similar fate or crisis. It is even not known. And what is about to happen is that this position will repeat. It will repeat in the days after and around 21st of September, 2024. So we can expect that somebody will be not so satisfied by his military in that time. In addition, other positions are also repeating. Now on 1st of January 24, and also on the 15th of December 2024, Mercury is posited in such a way that the ancients are saying this indicates the cheerfulness of the king. Well, I imagine then this means that the rulers of more autocratic dictatorial countries will have much better time and much more reasons to enjoy in this moment. Of course, the king, we can think that it can mean also someone else. But when I was like carefully observing, usually the king means such people. And so I think for now, this is a good amount of information. And I will go deeper throughout the year for specific countries. Because each country will have different birth chart, so to say, or card of the revolution of the year. So for each country will be also different. That's why it cannot be said something more than this, what is already indicated here now. But I will be able to give more comments soon enough.
Thank you so much, Trifon. You went beyond. You gave us so much detail. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you for the people will not find this information anywhere else, because I have not seen any other astrologer that his predictions using not just the sidereal zodiac, but the actual omens and interpretations from ancient books. So thank you so much for that insight. So it didn't sound so bad and scary, 2024. Actually, there were quite some very good points as well. So looking forward, but of course, we'll have to keep coming back to this prediction, because you always speak with an even tone, so we cannot see where you put the emphasis, and you said a lot. So we'll keep coming back more.
I think the spring is more critical, and the summer is some of the best times of the year. And later is more neutral. This is the general indication.
Perfect. Thank you so much again. If anyone would like to contact Trifon, I'll put the link below. He has a really big discount, almost 50% on his personal reading, using very ancient techniques, very scholarly techniques as well, to read your horoscope. Thank you, Trifon. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Happy 2024.
Thank you, everybody. Wish you nice, wonderful celebrations.